So it takes a certain kind of traveler to go to Coron or El Nido, Palawan, for the Philippines. You have to have a little bit of a sense of adventure for this, because what you're not going to see in all of these TikTok videos is the other side of things, where you do have to go through traffic. You do have to take these tuk-tuks. You see tuk-tuks everywhere here. And you see that there are barely any sidewalks later in the video with regards to Coron. But let me tell you, it is entirely worth it. So here it is. This is Coron. This is kind of the street that you see here, and you can see that there are barely any sidewalks where you are going to be moving about. And it's certainly important that you have your wits about you when you are walking. While we were in Coron, we did a few different tours, and you know how I feel about tours. I don't think tours are generally worth it, but I take that back when it comes to traveling in these areas, because these tours are a major way of getting to see the beautiful parts of the Philippines that no one ever would imagine is there once you get out there. A couple of things I want you to be aware of when traveling here. Number one, the visa requirements are not there. You don't need a visa to travel here, so it is a visa-free travel. And number two, that everything is generally affordable. This tour that we did cost less than $150 US in total for me, my son, and my wife. And it was entirely worth it. You could see these amazing limestone formations here. The water is crystal clear. I don't think you could find any waters this clear outside of maybe Bora Bora, but the water is crystal clear. They have really done a bang-up job in keeping this area clean. The first stop on our tour here is Cagayan Lake, which is supposedly one of the cleanest lakes in all of the Philippines. Now, like I said, you do need to have some sense of adventure when you're out here. This is not for your average tourist. You're not going to the Four Seasons here. You're going to the Philippines, so just be prepared. But like I said, look at these waters. They're just stunning. Me and my son had a great time just swimming out here with the fish. Got a ton of swimming and kayaking and snorkeling all done throughout this tour, and it encompassed the entire day. It was basically from the morning all the way into the evening, so entirely worth it. It included a full-scale buffet, which I will show you later on in this video, but look at these waters. Again, you have so many different colors when it comes out in terms of these waters, and the coral is amazing. Later on in the video, I actually go snorkeling with my phone, and you'll get a chance to see how amazing the actual coral looks. But the waters are stunning. You don't really need to have a camera phone that is submersible to see the coral, because you can see it from above. But yeah, this is the first taste of that snorkeling that I mentioned. My phone isn't that great, so pardon the pictures, but you do get a good impression of how beautiful this coral is, how many fish are out there. And so just really picturesque. It's what you would think of. You can see that clam there, and these waters are very clear. So it's just it was an amazing experience, and I can't stress how beautiful it is over here. Very much natural beauty when you get down here. We did have a lot of sea urchins, so that's one thing I will warn you of, is that the sea urchins there are spiky, and if you get yourself stung by one of them, it can be a little bit painful. This is that buffet lunch. They had it in this little hut on the side of one of these limestone cliffs, and you could see all of the food that was served here. This was a feast. I mean, I left really full. See my son and wife there just taking it all in. By the end of this, all of this food was generally all gone because it was so good. And the crew actually cooked all of this food on the boat that we're actually touring on. So there's actually a little kitchen in the back of one of these little boats, which was just crazy to me that you can get this all done in this little tiny boat. But just so much done here in Coron. And you can see here again these beautiful, stunning waters. You can see how different the colors are, and how much you can see through all of the water, and you can see the coral underneath it. This is the Twin Lagoon, which was also part of the tour here. And basically these are two lagoons that were connected by a little tunnel, and so that's where they get the name for it. And so here you can see us kind of kayaking up to that little opening underneath this giant limestone mountain, and just really an adventure. You know, it was such an amazing experience to share with my son, and I'm so glad that we got to do it. But here we are coming up on that little tunnel that connects the two lagoons, and that's why they call it the Twin Lagoons here. And you can see how pretty this whole thing is, with amazing coral, amazing waters, and these limestone formations. Now, this is one of the areas where a lot of tourism occurs in the Philippines, so don't be surprised if you do run into more than one person on your tour, because it is it's basically the only means of economy here in Coron, as well as El Nido, which you'll see in the next video. But don't be surprised if you do catch other people on your tour. There were a lot of Europeans on our tour here, a lot of Spaniards. I think they were all on vacation. So that's one thing. But we really lucked out because this was actually part of the wet season in the Philippines. And so we had one day of this breathtakingly beautiful weather. So we really lucked out when we did this tour. And so you could see again just how stunning the area is. Now the question invariably comes up whether or not Coron or El Nido is the destination of choice. And for me, we did both. I preferred Coron. Coron was, in my opinion, more affordable, more economically affordable than El Nido. I think El Nido has become more touristic, and so you're going to see that a lot of people that go to El Nido are paying more of a premium, and so the affordability in terms of these places, Coron wins out. And in addition, I felt that we did more in Coron for your money. Now, this was also part of the tour. This was a skeleton shipwreck. This was an old Japanese boat that was sank during one of the wars with the Philippines. You can see all of the fish here. They were just everywhere. We're feeding them, so that's what attracted all of these fish to this area. But still, I mean, how many fish do you see here? I do apologize again for my camera phone. We don't quite capture all of this amazing stuff on my phone, unfortunately, but you get the idea. And I'm not much of a scuba diver, so you're not going to see great photos or pictures of this shipwreck, but suffice to say, it's there. You can see the bow of the ship right there. And if you were a stronger swimmer than me, you could do some free diving here. You could definitely get a better look at that shipwreck, but that's just something you don't see every day. So I really appreciated that. We did more snorkeling here, and so again, you get a better idea of how amazing that was. And to end the day, we went to the beach just to relax a little bit. They did have vendors that were kind of going around in their boats selling $1 beers, so that was also a pretty cool thing. This beach is dedicated to the youth of the Philippines, and so that's why they called it CYC Beach. It was a youth club beach, and people would throw parties there when they were able to. And here's us taking one of those tuk-tuks. If you haven't already, please smash that like button. It does help with keeping me going with these videos. Here's us climbing into this tuk-tuk, and this tuk-tuk took us to our hotel, which ended up being the last activity of the day. Anyway, here's us getting back to our hotel, Next stop here, we ended up going on a different tour. We went on this Kapu Beach Trail because my son wanted to go ATVing for the longest time, and so that's what we ended up doing. You can see him back there now. They do kind of bend the rules a little bit for us here, so my son did get a chance to get on this ATV and managed to drive some of it, and he does have some adult supervision back there. He has one of the tour guides sitting in the back of one of these ATVs just to make sure nothing goes wrong. But here we are taking this ATV up this road, and it eventually leads to an off-road trail, and that off-road trail leads to this Kapu Beach, which is a very isolated beach. Here you can see us getting off of the street and getting onto this dirt road. This was an awesome thing to be doing, particularly for my son, because this is something he's always kind of wanted to do, was go off-roading in an ATV. It's funny because while we were on this ATV going down this dirt road, we'd see tuk-tuks down the same road. So, this is a way of life for the people down here. They would take their little scooters and their tuk-tuks and manage to get down this dirt road, and here we are on ATVs. But that just goes to show you, the willingness and the perseverance of people of this country, where they have to do what they have to do. There is no excuses in terms of people here. They do everything they can to make ends meet and provide for their families, and so I certainly appreciate that. With regards to the people here, they are hardworking and do what they have to. So you can see here how this road was. They said this was the rainy season, so you do see a few puddles here and there. Again, we were very lucky to kind of get through this without any too much bad weather. We did have a couple of people that were at our hotel that missed their flights due to the rain. But here we are at the beach, making our way in, and here you'll see just a very isolated beach, but overall me and my son got here safely, no problems, and so it's something that we certainly appreciated and will have fond memories of. When you see all of this beauty, you really get to appreciate the Philippines for what it truly is, which is a gem. It's a beautiful place, but there are a lot of problems with it. There is the infrastructure, like I had mentioned, but look at this. It makes up for it in so many ways, and so it's really important that when you go into this, you have your eyes wide open. Don't expect this from stepping off the plane. Understand that you have to get through the infrastructure to see this beauty. You have to overlook the poverty and you have to overlook the infrastructure. Anyway, let's talk cost. So for lodging on this leg of our trip, we spent about $153, and this was because we did have to kind of change some things up in terms of itinerary. Transportation, it cost $314 for the flight out to Coron, to Busuanga. The food was cheap, you see, $39, and these tours for everything that we did, $170, which is wow, amazing. Grand total $676. Breakdown per day comes down to $225, which is pretty good for a family of 3. So yeah, if you can come out to Coron, it's amazing. I certainly enjoyed, and like I said, this is not for your typical tourist. If you have a sense of adventure, if you're into nature, and you have a willingness to be flexible, your level of comfort, then this is certainly a tour for you. Better snorkeling than the Barrier Reef for sure. Our next stop here is going to be El Nido, and to El Nido we took this fast ferry, which is another beast, which we will talk about at the next video. For all of its infrastructure problems, for all of its poverty and governmental corruption, and all of the issues with pollution, this is still certainly worth a visit, and I would never discourage anybody from coming out here. It's just gorgeous. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't, please like and subscribe. Thanks. See you in El Nido.